Is it working now? I think I can hear myself. Right? Yeah. Awesome. Let's just start. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my talk. So it's the last talk. I hope you're not bored. You still have energy. So my talk is about vision for good. So accelerating impactful AI applications with Vertex AI and Gemini. So basically, I want to talk about computer vision advances with Google products. Before I start, I'd like to know how many of you guys are expert in computer vision? One. Nice. Great. But I believe most of you are developers, are in tech, right? That's why you're here or today attending GDG somehow, like DevFest Vienna, right? Perfect. So let's just start. But before we start, let me tell you a bit about myself. So I'm Roushanak. I got my PhD in AI in the field of computer vision and image processing. Right now, I'm a tech lead at IBM Consulting in London. Also, I'm a lecturer because I love learning and I love teaching it. So I'm any time that I can, commit to the university. I don't have too much time, but I'll still try to keep my affiliation with the university, and I still teach. I'm a Google developer expert in the field of AI and cloud, and recently I won a prize as the top 100 women in tech, which is very nice, and it helps me to talk more about AI with younger women and encourage them to come into AI. As I told you, I love learning and I love teaching it, so I started writing technical blogs on Medium and make my YouTube videos. So feel free to reach out to me, connect with me, or on LinkedIn if you're interested. And I would love to know what you're doing, and in case if I can help you in any case in the future, let me know. So let's now start. What is computer vision? So I know one of you guys know about it, but the rest of you who don't know, have you heard about computer vision before? Yeah. I can see nodding. That's good. So you know about it. But for the ones that, they don't know, or we can remind them what is it, is basically the concept is this. On the top, we see that's us as a human. We see an object like a tomato. With our eye, we want to retrieve, we want to somehow get this information. And then we understand, somehow we capture the image with our eye, and our brain is processing that and understand this is a tomato. And we want to replace this basically understanding with a computer, and basically we have to replace that sense of seeing that our eye is doing with the camera. Or here, if you can see here, I have a sensing device like a webcam or any kind of camera. And then our computer with its brain, basically, which all of you know where is trying to process that and understand, like it's, let's say, 84%, it's a tomato, or anything else, like 15% can be apple or something else. So the same way that we, as a kid, when we are born, we see a tomato, we see an apple, and then we are able to distinguish between them. The same way, the computer is also should learn and be able to classify or distinguish whether it's a tomato or something else. Okay, easy. There are so many nice different techniques for computer vision that we use, and of course, in daily life, we are using them even if you are not working in this field. If you're having like a smartphone, most of these features and techniques that I say are there, and I'm sure if like when you send pictures or you're trying to use any of these photo editing applications, these techniques are already in them. The first one is classification. Like we want to see whether in this picture on the left we have a cat or dog. The class is a cat, right? Next one, we have semantic segmentation, that we want to find the proper boundary, the proper shape of that specific object. Like we have like a segmentation of cat in yellow, grass in green, and the other objects. We have classification plus localization. So we want to find that specific class of that object in the picture, like a cat, and also we want to know where is it in the object. okay? This is like something that when we go to, let's say, airports or busy places, we see like, there are cameras, there are TVs that they show us, like it's very important to see who is going there, how many people are getting into that crowd, and so on. Object detection is when we want to know what is that object. See in this picture, we have like two dogs and one cat. They're different objects, although two of them are from one class. And then instance segmentation in another cool technique that we want to find that object and even segment that, find the boundary around that. And you can, I'm sure in your mind, you're thinking about different applications and different even ways of using them, or maybe the ways that we are already using them in our life. For example, image registration. That we capture images even with our eye. We are limited, to some, dimension. And with camera, when we capture images, that also has a specific size, right? That we are limited to that. But if we want to reconstruct a bigger picture, if we want to understand and having a bigger picture, for example, from satellite imaging, so we capture, separate or smaller captions, and then we try to stitch them to each other. And that's a very difficult way of doing that we call it image registration. Because we have to find the exact pixels that they're matching each other. Then we have image reconstruction, that we can have, different shapes of an object, or even from the bottom one, 3D scene reconstruction, from different angle, and reconstruct the whole 3D shape of that. Oh, no. Okay. Or image generation, in case if you guys are active in Snapchat or Instagram, TikTok, like every wall, there's a new trend of a new, cute image generation. Upload your image, get a cartoon shape of that, and so on. Denoising is another interesting area, especially in medical imaging, because there are noises, there are artifacts that they can impact the quality of our images and somehow hide the information that we are looking for in the image, and we have to remove those noises. And especially in medical imaging, that because of the nature of those images, there are some noises come with them. And of course, there are techniques to remove them to be able to understand what's going on in the human body better. And of course, image captioning, which is one of my favorite techniques to understand what's going on in an image and be able to provide a caption and a description out of that. Now let's go to Google AI and computer vision. So Google in the past 10 years, they developed so many interesting and cool techniques and applications and basically tools that we are able to use in AI and in computer vision as well, that they are all open source, and they contributed a lot in this field. And of course, in all of these years, in any of these products, they were caring about responsible AI, and they try to build applications which are safe for us as developers or our users to use. In 2015, 10 years ago exactly, like Google DeepMind, if you guys know about them, I'm sure most of us in the room we know, was basically started with the AlphaGo. It was like a very interesting, advancement in AI by then. Then the next year, they introduced TensorFlow. If you guys are developers, and especially in deep learning and machine learning stuff, then they came up with JAX, and then they came up with LLM models like in 2018. A BERT model started, AutoML, then T5, text-to-text transfer, transformers came out, and of course, then after that, ChatGPT and OpenAI started using them. Until, we can just skip some of them, go to 2021, and Imagen come out. If you guys haven't heard about Imagen, I'm sure you heard about DALL-E, which was a very equivalent application and tool which was built by OpenAI. And it was like from just writing a prompt, writing a text, you could able to generate an image. And it was something very interesting that I'm going to show you in the next slide. And then in 2022, they had AlphaFold for basically predicting the structure of the proteins, and it was the time of the COVID, and it was very important for all humans to understand, and this application was very valuable. Then BART model came, and in the last 2 years, Gemini and Gemma, which are multimodal kind of generative AI models, are built, and they are very important, and every day we are using them. Anybody haven't used Gemini, by the way? Few. Oh, a lot of you guys. Why, guys? Why? What's your favorite LLM? ChatGPT.
I'm using it in my IT.
But have you tried Gemini?
Yes.
Okay. So that's good. You know about it, but it's not your favorite. Maybe I can convince you today. Awesome. So let's go. This is Imogen. Like, it's one of the first, videos that they released about like just writing a prompt and then putting some description about anything you want. It could be something which doesn't exist, like, for example, a cat playing guitar, and it could beautifully, generate that. And the interesting thing is, like, if we were running the same prompt next time, it was giving us another image. So that was showing the nice way of somehow creativity of these applications. And then, of course, from here, when they started, 2021, it got more advanced and more advanced, until now that we have Imogen 4, fourth version of that. And we can see, like, for the same kind of way of writing, a prompt and generating an image, how much improvement we had. And, of course, more details and more resolution and so many nicer things they started having. This is some of the images from their website. Some of them look so realistic to me, like especially this guy. To me, I don't know, it's very difficult to distinguish whether he's like real or not. Or some of this, for example, this like object in the sea. Yeah, they are looking more realistic, and that's the nice part of them. So to me, since the last version of that, Imogen 3, they started doing really, really cool stuff that not only using like a prompt to generate an image, but also they started doing more image processing and more, computer vision techniques that for me, that I studied, this field, and I know how difficult and complicated it was to do those traditional techniques and, development. Now, how easy it is with tools like this. Some of them, as you can see at the bottom, that we have an original image, and then these editing techniques that, Imogen somehow now embedded. It's interesting. So if you see the couple at the bottom, they're having maybe a cup of tea or something, and then we can edit this image by just saying, like, change the background. We see, like, the quality of the like somehow the resolution, or maybe the lighting got much better. I think you can still hear me, right? Yes. And then they started, like, another technique is like in-painting. In-painting is like when we remove an object from an image. If you see here, the saucer at the bottom is removed. And then we have outpainting. Outpainting is like when we want to add objects or even expand, the scene. As we can see, it expanded. It's very interesting. And, of course, it has a lot of different applications that we can think about in cinema, in healthcare, and so many other, applications that images are a big part of them. And this is what they have on Imogen 4, the last version of Imogen, which is published. I put a video here that I took from their website that we can see, like, they started having, like, talking about the capabilities, that the latest capabilities, like the ultra fast option, because it's much, much faster, 10 times faster to generate an image. It's like more, it realizes your vision. Basically, it understands the prompt much better. And the exceptional clarity, basically, how it's the resolution is much higher, and of course the creativity in them is much better. Some of these photorealistic images, we can see that in the video. To me, they're very realistic. I don't know how do you guys judge them. To me, this can be a real person. This can be a real thing. And we can think about like the physics, you know. It's so difficult to understand the physics and also formulate that. And it used to be a very difficult thing in image processing and graphics. And now we can see like it understand all this physics and understand like to make, you know, these bubbles and how fine and how much details. And this image to me is very interesting because, see, I was like trying to understand that it doesn't miss any, you know, thread. The color continues, goes on and on. And I think it's great. It's really great. And for us to generate even these kinds of images, it was very difficult. And even I think if I was a human sewing this dress, I could do a mistake, you know. But it's very nice, and I think this is a butterfly wing, and how beautiful it understands, you know, the shade and, you know, the shadow and the lighting. Other cool application that you can somehow write your comic books. And I think it would be nice in case anybody have their kids and it's difficult, you know, to tell them story, and then you can just generate, you know, a comic book for your kids. And of course, so many other interesting stuff, as we can see in the video. Other things, diverse at styles, any type of style you want to have in the matter of art. We see like even like human artists, they're specialized in one field because it takes years to be specialized. And now you can be a digital artist and generate each one of them like just by prompt. And even creativity. I really like these balloons from fruits. Until we get a bit further. So it's trying to show the performance of this, which is compared with the other text-to-image generated model. And we can basically, on their website, they try to show the importance of that, the advances of that, and the limitations, which I really like. They talk about it on their website, that basically there are limitations at this stage. Of course, they are going to improve it, like any other model that we see these days. And one of the good things that they said is the factual representation. Which says like these are diffusion models, guys. So diffusion models, they are not as great as LLMs yet because of the vast amount of data that LLMs are trained on. But diffusion models, they are limited. So that's why they're not as great. But of course, they're getting better. Then centered images, like there can be an issue if you say, I don't know, create a circle in the middle of the image. So this is a bit like, you know, still not perfect. It can be challenging. And incomprehensive prompts is another thing that if I put some, you know, some emojis or random, you know, characters in the prompt, so it can be confused and it cannot pay attention or put the focus on the, you know, correct prompt. So that's another limitation for even Imagen 4. But of course, they cared about safety, as is Google always they care about. So it's good that they care about the safety and somehow responsible AI from what it goes inside the model, the input, also from the output part. They are releasing the latest images with watermarking and with SYND ID. Do you guys know what's watermarking? Can see you're nodding. Anybody doesn't know? Yes, so somehow coding our, you know, image or our text, even we have it for text, because we want to, let's say, if I'm, for example, professional photographer or even a digital artist, and I'm making money out of that, I live, you know, with this selling these images, so I don't want people just use it without letting me know. So watermarking is a great technique that my data, my work wouldn't be, you know, used by others, copyright somehow, right? And from the Imagen 4, we have like the watermarking, and SYND ID is a nice tool from Google that it has basically, it's been applied to Imagen 4. And where we can use them, there are ways to basically use Imagen-4 from Gemini model itself. If you go to Gemini website and search, I don't know, just to generate me an image about, I don't know, let's say what, a bird, I don't know, playing guitar, then in Gemini it's able to generate that using Imagen models. And Google AI Studio, Gemini, and Vertex AI Studio, and so on. So, next one is Veo. Have you heard about Veo, guys? So what is Veo compared to Imagen? Well done. So it goes one dimension higher. So this one is text to image mainly, or image to video. Text to video or image to video. And it generates beautiful video, but of course, it's getting better and better because at the beginning it was just like short videos, and now in their latest version, they expanded the timing of that. And so in the VO2, so in the first VO1, they just had like text to video with the resolution of 180 pixels, and then, of course, and just 1 minute. Then they extended that in the VO2. The time was longer, and also they added image to video as well. And you were able to also edit the video, same thing like Imagen as I showed you. You were able to do in-painting and out-painting, expand, somehow the scene, change the camera. You could just give either a prompt or image of the first frame and last frame of a video, and it could, generate like a story, what's happening from this image to the last image, which is a very cool thing. And I really like this video on their website, which you just could prompt: a cute black dog sits in bathtub with its head covered in soap foam. And then we got this beautiful, cute dog. And of course, you can play with it. And then Veo 3.1 is out. And let me play the video that we can see, there are so much nice thing that, of course, this Veo 3.1 is doing. The thing that they talk about, what is new about it, is redesigned the generator, redesigned the realism, and it's doing a better and greater work for reality kind of generation. It follows the prompt much better than the previous version, and it improved the somehow creative control. So you're able to do editing stuff as well. Other thing is they also added audio to that. So the output, the video which is generated, it has also audio as well. Look at this one. Can you hear the? Oh no, it doesn't. Okay, sorry, it doesn't. But yeah, there is like an audio in this video that is basically shows like what's going on. And never mind. Another thing which is very interesting, so if you want to have an audio, of course, you can say, I want to have two people speaking, but also it can also add background noise. For example, we can say like a medium shot frame, an older sailor, and who is doing something. And this sailor, if you please go to their website, you can see these videos with the audio. And then it has the background noise of the seagulls and the sea waves, and it's really nice. It's beautiful because it looks so real, and also it understands the environmental noises. Sometimes that even me as a human, even if I want to prompt it, I might forget. That's why I say understand the physics and the whole nature better than us, even as a human. And what else is interesting? So, of course, I told you the quality of these images got better, the understanding the prompt got better. This is a very nice application that I can say, generate an image for me from this lady can be like, for example, the main character, and I want her to wear these dresses and be in this scene. and it's able to generate that. See, she's wearing that dresses in that scene. And it can be very difficult. And imagine if someone works in cinema and you know how much they can somehow reduce the cost of generating just a video. And of course, you can match with the style. You can, and this is another nice video that you can extend the scene. We can have even a video or an image and see it's extended. So there are other dancers joining this, lady, the ballerina here, and there are other ballerinas coming and making a beautiful scene. Yeah, this is really cool. It can change the location of the camera in the video. So another way that I think it would reduce a lot of costs in the applications like cinema. And again, this is another really nice one that I like to share. Like we have this guy who is just saying something, but I want to replace his face with this lady, and then with this one, and then we get this video at the end. This can be also a bit scary in case of, deep fake stuff, something can come out and then you don't know this video, how much is it real or not. But anyway, it can have good applications as well. By the way, how much time I have? I think it's been half an hour I'm speaking, right? Awesome. And so let me just skip this one a bit. And then, of course, the safety, the same thing. We have watermarking in them, so Synth ID is there. And there are, of course, limitations that you can check from their website. And you can access them via Gemini and Vertex AI and so on. And another nice thing that is being introduced by Gemini and, of course, Google DeepMind is called Project Astra, which is still groundbreaking, which is an AI assistant from Google DeepMind, which basically empowers the Gemini models to understand and respond. And it can happen just in real time on your mobile phone. Have you heard about Project Astra, guys? Someone said it loudly. So I think that would be interesting for you. This also has a video. So it's a very cool thing that this guy is explaining, like he is just having his Google Pixel phone, and he just basically talking to his phone. And of course, the Gemini is able to respond. But it's able to, for example, says what are the pieces he has to fix for his bike. Then he can, just take the camera around and say which one of these pieces, for example, are relevant for him to fix his bike. And somehow it's communicating with him via audio, images, video, and communicating, and not only just talking like normal ChatGPT or Gemini. Is also provided like the tools, provided like a solution, as well as, for example, do like proper search in the internet and pieces that it should buy. And there is another video they have on their website that it shows, like, for example, it shows like a mathematical equation on the board, and it's able to solve the equation. So it's a very nice thing that it's worth checking out, guys, called Project Astra. Now let's go to Gemini. So now we know, like, from the traditional machine computer vision and image processing, how things are changed, and how from those techniques that we still need them to solve some problem, now they got much easier and they are in our hand, and we can do a lot of interesting stuff with them. So we don't need to go and read all those difficult mathematical equations and how we can train a model to do a specific simple task. Now we can use things like Gemini or the relevant extensions that I just now talked about, that we are able to just not feed one type of data. We are able to feed multimodal data. And that's the interesting part of Gemini. they are by nature, they are multimodal, and it comes in different sizes. So we are able to go with something very complex and something which we can for different applications to something which is very small and very light, like Nano Gemini model that we can implement it on our mobile phone in case some of you are developers, like mobile developers. Which I think Mahbouba, she says she is one of them. So you're able to just implement something on your mobile phone and then in real time it's able to use. But of course, it really depends on our application, depends on the data that we want to work with and of course the cost and so many other things. But we get access to different versions of them. That the good thing is they are multimodal. Of course, the latest one, we have 2.5 Pro Flash and flashlight, and there have slight differences in the matter of the cost, in the matter of the size, in the matter of the data they handle, and so on. And of course, the improvement, and some of them they can handle the memory, some of them they can. So it depends, and I always say, look at these models, or in general, anything in AI or computer related like ICE. So we have to use as much as we need. If I don't need to go for Gemini 2.5 Pro, then why should I pay for that? I can go for a lighter one. Or depends on my application. If I have to go for a more complex one, then I shouldn't go for something which is cheaper. And yeah, so as I said, they are designed to be natively multimodal. And that's a great part because the input can be anything in the matter of text, audio, image, or video, and they're able to generate images for us as well as text for us. And this is in general Gemini. Of course, it can be text in a matter of code and some other things as well, but that's a great part that for now, these are the things that on Gemini and even with the free accounts, we are able to access. What makes Gemini unique? The multimodality in and out, and the live API, multimodal live API, and also is able to handle very long context lengths. So you're able to, like the token size is so big, and then you're able to put like a big text or big document upload, and it's able to generate or do whatever you want to do with that. Gemini also, of course, is getting more and more advanced. Every time there's a new version of it is somehow every time they release a new version. And about the 2.5, basically, I think it was last month or last 2 months that they had the most number of download and usage compared to ChatGPT. So it's getting more and more popular. And compared to last year, 40 times growth in the number of users they had. So I'll try just to be careful about timing. So let me. Awesome. And I have 20 more slides. So. Things that maybe from slide I can just say quickly. The good thing about Gemini is really it allows us developers to build agents faster, improve the coding, and streamline operations. Anybody is working with agent or agentic AI? Oh, nice. Some of you. That's great. So Gemini is really great in case if you already started or you're going to start with agents. And this diagram shows how Google Gemini AI reaches somehow everyone. For consumers, you can use gemini.google.com directly. For developers, that I think it makes most of us in this room, we can build with it using aistudio.google.com or by connecting to the AI with the ai.google.dev/Gemini/API. And for large business or enterprise usage, Gemini is available through Google Cloud and cloud.google.com/Vertex AI and then /generative AI. And from this one, of course, you're able to access the most powerful tools for big operations. unified SDK. So this is, let me see, yes, I have the full image. So this diagram here, and I have another one. This diagram here illustrates the streamlined process for developers to build applications using Gemini models. So developers can access Gemini through either Google AI Studio or Vertex AI Studio. I don't know if you guys are using them already. Anyone? No one? Okay. But they're really cool tools and cool platforms. I do recommend for developers to use them for more professional use. And then you can integrate the AI's capabilities into your app, as you see on the green I have here, and which is using a unified one SDK. And this one SDK is a key accelerator because it simplifies how developers consume Gemini's power via both general Google API and Google Cloud APIs. So ultimately making it easier and faster to create impactful AI solutions. Okay, I know it's the last talk. I know it's the end of the day. And I know you guys are not using it, but I hope I tried to show you that what's happening and what we can do as developers, and of course, when it comes to enterprise skill, and things are getting much easier even for us. Vertex AI. Any of you know what's Vertex AI? No? Okay. So any of you is using GCP, by the way? Google Cloud. Oh, nice. So you never used Vertex AI? Awesome. Never mind. That's why I made this talk, you know? It's for you guys. You're in the right room. Because now you know about Vertex AI after I tell you about it. So Vertex AI is basically somehow the let's talk about like the machine learning smart way of the Google Cloud. You see, like, I'm sure if you're not using GCP, you're using AWS or Azure, right? Like, for example, we have on AWS Bedrock or SageMaker, right? When we want to develop our machine learning or deep learning or agents or generative AI models. Vertex AI is the equivalent of that somehow on the GCP, that you're able to either use the model gardens that they have for machine learning and in AI somehow in general, or either the models there or develop your own model. So then here on the Vertex AI, Vertex AIs, so we have the Gemini API, and when we go to Vertex AI, and Vertex AI somehow looks like this on the GCP, exactly like AWS or Azure. When you go there, on the left we have, basically what we want to do in the cloud, and then let's say if I go and select Vertex AI, then I can do things differently. But what I'm trying to say from this slide is you're able to use Gemini API and Vertex AI, which is both give access to Gemini family models. You can use Vertex AI on its own, and you can even use the enterprise scale of that. So let me skip this to maybe, if you guys don't know about Vertex AI, and maybe talk about this part, which can be more interesting. So Vertex AI, here is the dashboard of that. So I made an account on Google Cloud Platform, GCP, and I just searched for Vertex AI. So it brings me to a page similar to this, which is the dashboard. And then basically is one-stop shop for all your machine learning needs. Okay, so it lets you to do everything from enabling APIs to accessing tools like Vertex AI Studio and Colab Enterprise and so on. And so let me go to the interesting part, because if you guys don't know about it, so I think some of these features that I also talk about maybe doesn't make sense to you. But from here, let's say we go to here, and then this is like a model garden, right? I'm able to choose different model. See, image and tree that I talked about is there. Gemini is there. Gemma 2 is there. And of course, so many other ones, like Llama 3.2, for example, in this screenshot that I got. And of course, if I take a screenshot today, it can be different, and there might be, for sure, there are more models there. Or even I can make my own, model. So that's the great thing. I can access to so many of these applications, so many of these tools. And then here is the Vertex AI Studio, which basically there are lots of options to generate your text, images, and speech. So this is, guys, very similar to when we go to Gemini web page itself, right? Or ChatGPT. But the thing is, this is more for developers somehow. Still, you don't need to code, but you're able to access different models, choose the model you want, write a more professional prompt, tune it better, change the parameters, and so on. Make sense? Awesome. And then you're able to go, now let's go back to the sweet topic of computer vision. So we can, even on the Vertex AI, enable an API for Vertex AI Vision, which helps us to use those more image generation and image related, or in general computer vision somehow models, and even be able to either use them or train them and so on. And so Vertex AI, the vision part, is a very powerful platform, guys, because it streamlines the entire computer vision pipeline. So you can easily ingest various types of visual data from images to videos and analyze them. So this is very important for lots of your application. Analyze them and with using pre-trained Google AI models or even your custom model. This platform itself allows you to store, search your visual data properly. And I think it's worth playing with that. You can just maybe get the information from your CCTV and, just in case if you have something at home, CCTV, and just play with that. Because now, previously, it was very difficult. You had to train your own model to understand what's happening. And now you can just go enable these APIs and then use some of this pre-trained stuff and see, I don't know, maybe is this what's happening, what's in the CCTV that you have, the information that basically you can have for free. So the good thing, it's very flexible, and there's so much tools that we can use. And then from here, we can see, as I said, it's very similar to the Gemini or ChatGPT itself. You can just upload an image, you can write a prompt, and it can just gives you a response properly. Like, for example, here I put a picture of a cute cat, and I said, describe what's in the picture, whether it's cat or dog, and it just gives me proper explanation. A multimodal live API, I talked about it briefly, and I said that's another nice feature, and that's how it makes Gemini, different than other models, is something called multimodal live API, which is an API, guys, that allows an application to communicate with an AI model in real time, using multiple input and output modalities. Anybody is working in an application that you have to use real-time data? Nice, I can see. Can I know what is it?
Sending passing data between two microservice application real time.
Nice. So for
using socket programming.
Nice, that's a cool thing. How about you?
My company actually does we have computer vision SDKs for mobile, Android, and iOS, web, cloud, and we also have one product which uses all three instructions, microinstruction, actually different 3D and rendering, etc. So we actually use a lot of computer vision.
Nice. See, and I have something very interesting coming up for you. So see, data, especially when it comes with images and in real time, is difficult. And this is one cool thing called multimodal live API. And the good thing is, as I said, this one, the multimodality of the input and output is important. input can be text, audio, and video. Output for now is just audio and text for now. And yeah, model can see, hear, speak. It has low latency because it's very important, the timing. For real-time applications, we don't want like something comes, after 10 minutes, or even like in the matter of like milliseconds we are talking about. Memory, we want the models remember what's happening in the session, which Gemini itself already has access to the memory. Tools, we want to be able to do function calling, code execution, and Google search, and so on. And this is something very interesting for real-time application, because I can take an image from, let's say, my kitchen, and it's able to detect objects. Remember, guys, the object detection thing? So it's able to understand what's happening, but also look at the picture on the right. It's able to reconstruct it somehow, or from like, the top angle, and says from the top, what are the objects in the, kitchen? This is very interesting because it helps us for applications of, let's say, if you want to renovate, if you want to make changes, and we can just take a picture, send, to the, I don't know, if I want to buy new cabinets or, new, for example, kitchen appliances. And this is really interesting because it's able to understand the depth, it understands the size, and it understands to even reconstruct from other angle as well. Native image and audio output. So Gemini 2.0, guys, itself, and 2.5 is even better. From the last version, they introduced native image generation and text-to-speech capabilities. So it enables image generation, editing, and also experiencing storytelling. This is, again, was a video that you could just, turn this car with a prompt into like a convertible. So we see like it just removed somehow the roof, right? We say roof or ceiling, I don't know. I think roof, right, for cars. The top part of that, and then it's able to also tell a story about it and have like audio about it. I think this is very cool. And yeah, so Gemini can understand text, images, audio, and more. In case there are, of course, text, image, audio, video, coding, in case if we want to generate code, and they're getting better and better. And last slide, I promise. So why I put this slide? Because the multimodal long content performance. So I want to show this slide that how multimodal long context models can analyze complex inputs. So what's happening here? We have a video recording. Let's say I have a junior developer in my team. And let's say me as a tech lead, I don't have time, or maybe this can live in another country, or I don't know, maybe I'm on holiday. So this developer can record what's happening from for example, showing their code. And this recording of a bug combined with their code. So they can record what's happening, and also along the code, they can send it to me. And I have to be able to understand what's happening. But now, let's say that I'm in Vienna, what they can do, they can give it to Gemini. And all at once, okay? And then the Gemini can use these materials, which basically, as the context, identify what's happening, what's the issue, with the video of someone just saying what's happening, as well as the code, and be able to debug that. And then generate both explanation and somehow the correct fixes to the code. And it's a very powerful example of how AI can accelerate debugging and basically understanding what's happening and the real-world signals beyond just the text. This is also another video that it has. It's really nice, worth checking if you search for multimodal long context performance with Gemini. And good news is the last part, it's the last slide. I think you guys are tired, and thank you so much for listening to me for the last 52 minutes. And I'm more than happy to answer any question you have and connect with you on LinkedIn. I think you're tired. You don't want to even ask a question. Thank you.